Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. I am your host, Lenny Reed. This is Don't Read My Mom podcast, the DRMM. And today I'm gonna talk about something that I don't know, that's on everybody's mind, whether they say it or not. It's always on somebody's mind, man. Life after death. Is there life after death? Um, you know, um, where do you go? Do you go to a waiting room waiting for judgment day? Uh, or is it just like somebody watching the TV and somebody else just pulling out the cord? Boom, out like a light. What is it? I don't know. But today we gonna try to find this out. I mean, we probably won't get nowhere because I or you won't know until that day come. But we gonna dabble in a couple things and see what we can come up with. Um, First of all, the main thing to me is what what is your purpose in life? I know you woke up one day and was like, what is my purpose? Whether you driving that truck, you working in that warehouse, you're a stockbroker, a bank teller, whatever, and you just like, man, there's so many things I want to do. My age is getting up there. What is my purpose? What is the reason that I beat out the million sperm coming out the sack? You know, what's your purpose? What's your dynamic goal? Are you closer to your goals? Now, do you live life on a wire, all scared to do stuff because of, judgment that was brought into your head from a previous generation, whether it's your family, your mother, your grandmother, you know, your race? Are you holding back in life because of that? Sometimes you just want to jump out of a plane. And hey, if the parachute open, the parachute open. But when that parachute open and you hit the ground, it gotta be the best feeling in the world. But if you're scared to do it, you're scared to do it. Every day, every second, every minute is wasted. You don't get it back. So religion is a big key. Coming up, I think I said this before. My mother was the only one that went to church. My father really, he wasn't really in. I mean, he was dabbling in a couple other things. He was listening to Farrakhan and other preachings of the Muslim preachers, a couple other things too. I think he was a Mason also, and he never subscribed to the Baptist. I mean, I don't know if he did, but he never went to church, unless it was like a funeral or some kind of gathering or something at church. But my mother was. I mean, when you think of my mother, she's basically the kind of person that will constantly pray for you. I honestly think getting through my childhood, my mother had a lot to do with that, just praying. And I always envisioned her praying so hard that her nose bleed, you know? Because, the kind of things that we went through coming up, you know, living in the area we lived in. But religion have a hold on people. I mean, it could be a good hold. It could be a way to keep the line formed, or without that, people just be going crazy and doing whatever they want. It's sort of like a land with no police, like the Wild Wild West, where you just had one sheriff and you get this badass coming to town, and he not scared of that one sheriff, so he unshake the whole town up. You just gotta look at different kind of religions. You got some you can't celebrate nothing. You can't celebrate your birthday, uh, nothing. And from the outside looking in, you like, damn, you can't even celebrate being happy. You just got to be serious all day long. Just focusing on the Lord word but other religions sort of break down and they're a little bit less strict. And me, I think I was really never religious had a religion to lean on. Like I said, we grew up that Baptist, and rarely went to church, but I always knew it was something. I always knew it was something controlling it. Like scientists say, you know, the dark matter controls space, something that you can't see. And I always thought that it was something out there that was controlling all of this. But then that falls back onto your purpose. What is your purpose? Is your purpose to go to a job you don't like every day and punch that clock for 25 years, then retire, and then probably 5 years after that die? Or is your purpose, you know, to follow that religion all the way till you die? And basically, you get to find out if that religion, steered you in the right direction, or did it steer you astray? You will never notice. So to me, I throw back my beers, take shots of my Hennessy, and I got my own codes, my own guidelines that I go by, and I make sure that I'm a stand-up man, and I treat people the way I want to be treated. So I say that's my own religion in a way, because I still wanna live life. I still wanna enjoy life. I still wanna make mistakes, learn from mistakes, and sort of bounce back from those mistakes. So I'm not gonna, sort of go with the whole crowd or go with the group, sort of like a cult. You know, it's kind of crazy how people. And look, if you're a first time listener, I'll be all over the place. I'll be talking about death and then shoot the life and then shoot the aliens all in one sentence. But let's get back on religion. Religion part, I'm not gonna dab in the religion part too heavy, because it's a religion is heavy for a lot of people. That's the only thing they know. So I'm not gonna sit here and bash religion. I'm just going off of. I think it should be a balance. I think it should be 50% religion that you abide by, and 50% your morals and your guidelines. I'm more leaning to like this 80-20, you know? But there's one thing that we do know, and that's fucking guaranteed. And it's like an eternal clock that you can click on your phone. You really can't, but it should. You can click on your phone and there's time counting down. And that's the time of your death. It's going to happen. It's the only thing you can change is what happens between now and the time of, that particular day. So death is guaranteed, but death is only guaranteed at this point in time. And when I say that, I mean in this year of 2019. Because 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, I think they will have a better control on death than what we have now. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I repeat, I'm not a scientist, I am a fucking idiot. I don't know anything. I just thirst knowledge. But I think there's a certain gene that breaks down the cells. Now, if they can just somehow turn off that gene, or do something to that gene, it will slow, your age down dramatically. I think. I'm not sure. I think I heard that somewhere. But anyway, I think once you get to a certain point in time, age is going to be reversed. Even if you look back into, horses and carriage, back into the cowboy days, where you get shot, where they pull a bullet out with a knife and they pour alcohol on their wound. Now we got different measures for that right now, right? You can survive, a cough more than you can survive a cough back then. So that seemed like our life expectancy went up, right? Now, that's what I'm saying. You add another 20, 30 years, and it should double. But eventually, as I say, I figure if they figure out something within the next decade or so, we can probably add 50 years into our life expectancy. So, if I don't know the actual life expectancy now, but I'm guessing it's somewhere in the 80s or the 90s. So now, add about 50 to 40 years to that. So we're looking at about 130. I think I seen on news it was a chick. I think it was a lady. She was 115 years old. That is crazy to be that old. And I think somebody asked her what she ate. She just said she had a good life. She didn't really stress about nothing, and she lived her life good. And that's basically what I'm trying to do: live life good. So I think they will somehow slow the death rate up. Now, once they slow the death rate up, then it comes to overpopulation. But that's another podcast we talk about. But for now, I'm talking about people living to 200 years old. Because, like I said before in a previous podcast, I think it was the first podcast, eventually the goal is to make all of this electronic stuff, GPS, everything is going to start to enter the body or to become a part of the body. Whether it's your eyes, your heart, your brain, everything is going to be enhanced until it turns into the great transcendence. Yes, being downloaded like a goddamn song on iTunes. You know what I mean? I can't wait for them days, even though I probably won't be around, but that's going to be cool when that finally happens. And transcendence, you basically live forever. Basically, you are immortal. Not that Highlander shit that cut your head off. No, you are immortal. You are in the internet. You are in the mainframe. You are in the system. So that's going to be a dope period of time. I can't complain because I could have been born in, you know, the 1100s or something like that when they ain't even have heat or AC. So I'm not complaining. But transcendence. That's like eventually they will get to that part where they're able to everything goes into you because your cells, your skin, your brain, all of that has a time period because at the age at the time of birth your body grows but your cell also deteriorate at the same time. So every day your cells get older, 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 and that's basically what happens. So eventually, if you notice how if somebody gets shot or they get hit somewhere, just say an injury or they get shot or something like that. Shot in the stomach, still a possibility to live. You get shot in your heart, it's a possibility. It controls the blood flow, so that's probably a bad spot to get hit. But anywhere else, you mainly good, unless you get hit in your head. You getting hit in your head is different. Without no brain, there's no body. There's no life. So right now, as we speak, as I'm doing this podcast, there is some crazy scientist right now that's working on trying to crack the code of the brain, right? So that code of the brain will be that's like a supercomputer that everybody walk around with. We don't do nothing with. As I stress again, we just go to work, punch the clock, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. Shit, some people go in 7 days a week. Get that money, pay the debt we in, retire, cash in that life about a couple years after retirement. Not to sober the mood, but back to transcendence. Transcendence will be it would be a way to crack whoever cracks the brain and able to take your brain, information on your brain, and download it into some kind of mainframe, some kind of supercomputer, right? But not just have your memories in some kind of card frame or some kind of memory frame. database of them. No, this will have to still be some kind of consciousness for you to see what's going on outside, for you to feel, to possibly smell, to still do everything that you do right now. And that's probably not for that's a way long time from now, but that will be the part that you basically leave this shell that this soft little shell that can get damaged. And people think humans are all strong and tough, but a raccoon, a squirrel can really whoop your ass. If it was just you and that squirrel in the locker room, or you and that raccoon in the locker room, or you and a cat, let alone a big cat, or a coyote, or a leopard. We are actually fragile, and we need the stuff around us to help us, like weapons and all of that stuff. So, but at that point of living forever, once we transcend and we able to just and by the way, if you don't understand what I mean when I say transcend, it's a movie with one of my favorite actors did, Johnny Depp, and it's called Transcendence. And it's a dope movie. You could probably check that out and you get an understanding of what I'm talking about. And transcended would basically is, I think, the about the only way that you could become immortal, to live for a long time. And but then again, who would want to live for a long time? Who would want to see um life pass, or things pass in this world? Because if you think about it, life is probably just a way to look at things, an experience. I think one I was listening to one scientist, and a junk made it freaked me out. He was basically saying that how we know that what we doing now is not a dream, but our dreams is actually life that we can't remember. And another one actually said that there's a point in time where you're about to die, and your whole life sort of flashes between your eyes, right? Your whole life. I mean, it starts from when you're a baby all the way to when you die. So who's to say you're not about to die in a situation, or in a situation that you're about to die in right now? Your life is flashing between your eyes, and you actually living that life. So them kind of people, man, they be messing my head up. I be thinking too much. But again, I'm off on a tangent, and I apologize. But um, another thing that let me see what I got up here. Bacteria. Now, a lot of y'all probably ain't gonna look at this right, but um, we could be a form, and I'm gonna do another in-depth one on this, another in-depth podcast on this. But we could be a form of bacteria on the earth. We could be. So, I if you scratch your arm, say you on a bike and you scratch your arm, right? And see your arm get infected. Now your arm's swollen. You got all these crazy looking green spots. It's infected. It hurts and everything. But if you zoom into that sore, that infected area, right? You see small little bacteria going to work. Boom, 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 boom. It's just like cities of microorganisms in that affected area. Now, who's to say we're not just bacteria to the earth, building, digging, messing up the planet, doing all of this stuff to the planet? I know one thing, you know, if you had a serious bacteria on your arm that was going rapid, you would get it taken care of. And, I think the earth could get it taken care of if it wanted to, you know? again, that's what I like to do, is go out on a limb. But back to being immortal. I think that'd be dope. Now, would you sign up for something like that? Say if you was you can only feel like your neck up. You had no control of your arms, and they told you that's it. You're gonna be a vegetable for the rest of your life, and you just going through your thing. You can't do nothing. You can't even play on the internet. You can't move your hands. You can't do nothing. And then somehow this crazy scientist contacts you, and he like the professor off of Back to the Future. I don't know. I always go to that professor look from Back to the Future, but he looked like the professor from Back to the Future, and he's saying, "I can fix you. I'm working on this new thing. Contact me, please." And then you finally contact him, and he's telling you that he's working on this new computer program. All he need to do is take a scan of your brain, download your brain, and then this, and that. It's a 20% chance you might not survive, but if you do survive, he can transcend you into this computer program and release you into the internet. Would you do it? Would you say, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna just chill over here, sip out this straw, watch stories, you know, watch Netflix, series after series after series? Or would you do it? Me, I do it. Excuse me, I'm drinking a little something, something. I would do it because I think, like I said, how I started this podcast. What are you here for? To bullshit? Or you want to take life by the ball? Don't y'all hate? You know how many times I heard that? Take life by the ball. But seriously, what are you here for? I'll do it. Shit, if they had a one-way trip to Mars, I'll do that too right now. You know, but that's just me. So it's just something to think about on how life is and the day it will come to an end. And the craziest thing, we would never know how it's going to come to an end. We're going to never know what happens on the other side. You know, um, through the eyes of most people, you die, you appear somewhere, you get judged, either up, down, heaven or hell, and it goes off your track record in life, right? That's one of the ways, and I think majority of the ways is probably similar to that. Or you just out like a light, or you just start right over, like you know. But it was a crazy dream that I had, and this dream was basically I died, and then all of a sudden I just take like these eyeglass, like this headset off, and I'm not human. I'm some form of glob, kind of Star Trek looking slithering thing, and I just slide away. Meaning that I was just some kind of being that was playing a game, which was me playing a game of life. And once I died, and which I thought real life, I died in a video game that he was playing, and he just wobbled off. He wasn't even human. It's some kind of entity, and it just wobbled off like it was nothing. And the crazy thing is, it seemed like he was only playing that game for a shorter period of time. But in my life, I was 43 years old. That shit, my head up, you know. But it's plenty things that we can find out, and we, or people can tell you. But you can play with life, You can waste your life. You can enjoy your life. There's so many ways you can choose. But just don't get to the end and saying I shoulda, I shoulda, I shoulda. I think you could do blow. I think you could be a good person and enjoy it. I think everybody got a gift. I think everybody is good at something. So you don't have to sit there and be at a job you don't want to be at. I think everybody is good at something. You know, whether it's painting, talking, listening, constant things that you can make a living off and enjoy yourself. And another thing with me, it's like I do it now. I'll be waiting, wishing Friday, Friday, Friday. Man, I can't wait. It's Monday. Like, man, I can't wait till Friday come. I'm time warping 5 days out of my life, and I do that shit every week. Next thing you know, 20 years don't go by. Just like that, because I was wishing those days away just to get to Friday so I can get off work. And you shouldn't have to live like that. But my thing is, you know, live life, enjoy it. Just don't just don't focus on the direction you going because it's gonna come. Some people I ask, I say, "Yo, you scared to die?" They be like, "No." Some people say they are. It's understandable what direction you in, but like I said, you just can't be scared to go. If you live now, love your family, have fun, memories, make a lot of memories. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't even worry about where you going or what you trying to do. Just live it now. Make sure everything's set. Make sure the family after you is taken care of, whether it's your kids, your grandkids. Make sure you have all of that set, but still, you can live your life too. Don't just bust your ass for 30 years just for your kid. I think you can, chew gum and walk at the same time, right? So, in this form, it's like life after death. We'd never know where we end. Even if you got on the other side, you're like, oh shit, yo, I'm a baby, or oh shit just get done. You can't tell. You can't come back and tell nobody because nobody ever did. So all you have to do is walk in your line and just live your life. You know, live your life good, live your life clean. You know, good bourbon, nice cigar, a pretty lady, or if you're a lady, a pretty man, whatever. Um, it's not hard to do. Life after death. That's this podcast. And I know I probably didn't get nowhere. I'm just freestyling here, just trying to see the direction. This generation, I don't think we're going to master the form of being immortal. In 200 years, 100 years, probably 50 years, I think they will. I think they will master the form of being immortal. They will see it. We probably, when my kids get a little bit older, I think they probably will reach the age of 120. If they eat good, if they live in a good life, stay away from the processed foods, they can probably do that. But far as my generation right now, or the generation older than me, I don't see no form to keep us going longer. So I'm gonna give y'all my little out here and what I think happens when we die. I see the two things that happen. I used to think that it's a possibility that there was reincarnation. What's that show that I used to watch? I think it was Sightings, or it was another show I used to watch, and it was a whole bunch of things on reincarnations. I didn't grow up now, so I don't believe that shit. But um, it's either two ways that this can end. I think either. Let's see. I'm trying to get it right here. I don't want to spit no crazy information here. All right. I think it's two ways that it could happen, and then I'll give you the way that I would like it to, or I'll give you the dopest way I think it should happen. Cause it's not a taboo topic. Cause everybody, it's gonna happen to everybody. That's one thing that's guaranteed. So I think that either you die and just like turn off the TV. Memory cease to exist. Everything ceases to exist. So there's no more thinking I'm here. There's no more thinking of the people you left. There's no more thinking of none of that. All of that shit just stopped. That's the bullshit version. But the dopest version, I think, is when you pass, you sort of get sucked into this wormhole looking white hole, and you just shooting around, and you just get spit out of the earth realm, and then you go into this form, and then you just shoot into space for eternity. That's some dope shit. That's some shrooms, mushroom, weed, everything combined stuff right there. I think that's the dopest way. But I don't think that's gonna happen that way. But I think it's the dopest way. Now, the God, the heaven and earth. I mean, the heaven or hell version. We don't know, but I think the dopest way is you are a form of energy. We know that. We know you're a form of energy. You just get shot out just like that, straight to space, shooting star. Or the light go out. Like you walk in the room, get what you gotta get, flick the light out, walk out the room. And then we reach that age, or we reach our demise, and it just switch out just like that. But like I said, we would never know. But I want one thing I can say: you can't control that. And when you do find that out, you won't be able to let nobody know. Shit, you probably won't even have consciousness from that point on. But one thing you can control is your life now. From this point on. So when you hesitating about doing fun shit, don't. Was you when you micro, yeah, you got your micro thoughts, this and that. Don't. You wasn't put on this earth to walk in a straight line. You can zigzag a few times, right? So all I say is, one day death will be knocking on the door. But until then, have fun and get on the dance floor. All right, guys. Thank y'all for listening to another podcast. This is episode 6, and this is the Don't Read My Mind podcast. And thank you for listening.